What is going on, y'all squad? This is your boy Yakertees, and this is your review for The Real Housewives of Miami Season 4, Episode 1. So I first want to say, I apologize that I didn't get any of these reviews out yesterday. Hey, it was LT27 Official's birthday party. So, I was over there hanging out with him and this or that, talking with fam and everything. Because, it was the new year. Everybody want to talk to you and all that good jazz, yeah. Nevertheless, this is the review. Um, and I'm going to I'm going to bounce between the seasons to reference other things. I have the wrong damn backdrop up. Why didn't y'all tell me that I got the Orange County women up here? I didn't even put the other one. Oh, help me, Lord. Oh, I did do it. Hold on. There it is. There it is. See, y'all didn't even tell me. See, now I got to sit here and switch to the other one to bring that up just so we can get right. I didn't have it set up, so I apologize. But yeah, I'm going to jump to the other seasons just to kind of bring some things, like piece together certain pieces, so that should help you all out if y'all haven't seen the other seasons. So that's what I'm here for. So before we start off, so the women are Alexia, Larsa, Lisa, Gertie, Julia, and Nicole. Those are the main. So the friends of for this one, I will, but I'm probably not going to really talk too much about the friends of unless they provide something. Like Marisol was a main cast member, I think just season one, maybe two. No, season one and two, and then after that became a friend of. So it's like, yeah, but she's honorary. Let me see. I also want to say I didn't like how they did this particular episode because if y'all remember the original first seasons of the Housewives, how you get introduced to each of the ladies and then for the most part try to piece them together. Because I just didn't like how we haphazardly threw in the last two women at the very end. It would have been nice to have met them. No, Gertie we did meet, but it was Nicole. No, I'm sorry. Julia and Nicole that we really didn't get a chance to know until towards the end, almost like after the big party, whatever. Anyway, you got Marisol, Alexia, Lisa, and Adriana. They're all, sitting, having a good time. This is some of the original women, and they're trying to set the foundation there. Marisol is now wedded to a guy named Steve. So, like I said, she was married to her first beau, literally like a quick wedding in the first season, got divorced in the second season, and now she's wedded again. So, congrats to her. Also, her mother had passed away, which is very, very sad. She did have some health complications in season three, and let's be all the way honest, she should have been a housewife. She gave us more than Marisol did. Let's just keep it 1,000. And I'm going to reference her mother. I forgot to write her mother's name down. And I forgot her mother's name. Nevertheless, I'm gonna bring her back up in just a second because it's going to tie in with the fifth lady that walked in, which is Larsa. Larsa Pippen, she is back. She says that she's trying to say low profile, but you got an OnlyFans, you beefing with the Kardashians, and now you back on television, but try to keep a low profile, whatever. What is interesting is now let me go to it because I had to go back and watch the particular episode where she met Marisol's mother, and Marisol's mother, she reads energy. So she's not necessarily a psychic. She did call herself a witch, so but she reads people's energy, which is under which there are people that do that. So Larsa went out of her way to ask, "Can you read me?" Okay, so she says you are very worried about a man. And it was on her face that it's like, But she kept saying, well, I got, three boys and da da da. She was like, no, I'm not talking about boys. You're worried about a man. And she then said, there's more to this, but I will have to tell you away from everybody. Now, I don't know if she meant away from all the other women that were there or away from this damn camera because I'm not trying to sit here and spray you. And let me see what else. And she just kept going, and it's almost like she kept picking at Marisol's mom. And she said, "You're emotionally immature. You're confused." And this is one of those where it's like Larsa just couldn't let it go, so she literally kept jumping back in and engaging with Marisol's mother. Got upset that Marisol's mother was speaking Espanol to Christy and talking to her about her situation. But again, you don't ask questions you don't want answers to. And then, now this part, she didn't say it directly to Larsa, but she said it to Christy, and Christy Chrissy was one of the originals. Her and Larsa didn't come back for seasons 2 and 3, and then now we got Larsa back for season 4. Nevertheless, she says in 10 years she may be poor. Now you know the hell what. It hasn't been 10 years since, but I think it's been maybe like 7 or 8, maybe. We'll just say between 6 and 8 years the show has been off of the air, and now it's back. We'll get to Larsa momentarily. So back to it. Adriana says Larsa left the group to be with the Kardashians, and now that they pretty much kicked her to the curb, she wants to regain our friendship. What she was really trying to say is she left the show because she thought she was the ish. Then she hooked up with the Kardashians, became a Kardashian, because I want to call her Larsa, Ariana Grande Kardashian, and that's what the hell she looked like. But she went off with them, and now they done kicked her to the curb, and she is almost divorced from Scotty, but not yet. But she ain't got ties to Scotty money. And that well, so the well of her husband is running dry. The Kardashian well has ran dry. She don't know what her next, dollar finna come from outside of her OnlyFans. So now she need to get back on this show. And in order to truly be on this show, she got to sit here and reconnect with all of us. I don't like Adriana, but I know Adriana, we right here. We not here, but we here. Adriana says she is divorced from Frederick. It is finalized and she's dating now. For those of y'all who don't know, what happened is she was dating Frederick. That was season 1. In season 2, it came out that they've already been married for several years. And her story was they were going to get married. They had the marriage license and everything. They submitted it already, but Frederick called off the is his name Frederick or was it Fred? Whatever. He called off the wedding, but the paperwork had already been, filed. So legally she was married, but she said she didn't feel married. So that was a whole thing, and she blamed it on him and this, that, whoop, wop, the whoop. Said he was supposed to have been the good man, but it didn't work out. And if y'all watched, I think it was season 3, just how everything happened with the wedding and all sometimes things leading up to can let you know if it's gonna work or not, and I'm gonna just leave that there. Larsa is what did I say? Oh, she says that pretty much that she still is married, but things are pretty much finalized. They're just finishing up the liquidation of the assets. I believe the eldest boy is probably off in college, but the remaining boys are with Scotty. She has her daughter, which is understandable, but with the way that Larsa is moving, I feel for her daughter. That's all I'm going to say. It's just I feel for her daughter. She wants to throw a hot girl summer party. I'm going to need for her to grow the hell up. I really am. But anyway, do you, boo-boo. Marisol asked what the attire is going to be. Alexia says something that you would wear on your OnlyFans. And I was just like, so we go in there. And then she asked, how do your kids feel about it? And Lars whole thing is I put the same thing on my OnlyFans that I do my IG. And she says she replies to the DMs and is averaging 10 stacks a day. Now, here's what we need to understand. I don't know how much Alexia is going to give us. I feel a way about how her storyline is going to morph this particular season. But typically with some of the people on these reality TV shows, they sit here and try to attach themselves to other storylines to see what's going to stick. Because she's making a big deal about Larsa's OnlyFans, and it's like, it's really not that big of a deal. And here's the other reality. It doesn't impact you. And if you have an issue with her having an OnlyFans and you being attached to her, then clearly just don't hang out with her. It's really just that simple. But again, we're going to see him put 10 on 24 storyline. Got it. So we got Alexia and Frankie. For those who don't know about, well, she has 2 kids, Peter and Frankie. Peter's the oldest one. Peter had some trouble in the past seasons when her son Frankie got into a severe car accident. He wasn't supposed to make it, but he has made it, has been making progress. But there's still a lot that he has to do, and his responses sometimes are not always on par, but he is getting better. With Peter, he did not know how to take that, and most men, young adults, some of us, young male adults, we're not given that room to feel the full spectrum of emotion. So again, we only know a handful, And because he did not know how to process what had just happened to his brother and there wasn't an outlet for him, he physically took it out on a homeless man. And I don't know if he ever got arrested for that, but I really don't care. And then in one of the seasons, he was getting into it with a bystander who flipped off his mom, and they actually show a portion of that on the show. But we're gonna move Peter out the way. Frankie. All right. So Herman, her ex-husband, has passed away. What happened is they separated, and then he passed away. So there's that. Herman's son decided to shut down Venue, which was a magazine that they had, and now she has a salon. I might come back to that. Frankie is involved in what is going on. She has his name attached to it. I believe she probably has, him attached to the business, to where if she was to go away, there might be an overseer for Frankie, but this is something for him because Frankie is living with her because he's dependent upon her. So a good look for her. Alexia is now engaged to a guy named Ty. They have this thing where I don't know if it's anybody who isn't Cuban or just European Americans, but they call them gringos. I'm not really offended by it because whatever, but it just seems a little bit weird and yeah, whatever. But she's with him planning a wedding, and Peter and Ty are not talking. We don't know why, but I feel that we're probably going to learn about it in the next episode. Now we have Lisa and Kenny. They finally bulldozed their house that was on Star Island, because they had an issue with that because there were protesters that felt that was the Scarface house, so they didn't want them to tear it down and whatnot. So they finally did that. Then they moved over there. Good stuff. They rebuilt it. They finally have children because Lisa wasn't able to have children. It's not that she had miscarried pretty much every time. He mentioned bringing a surrogate. She initially didn't want to do it. That caused some tension. They actually got a surrogate, but that surrogate miscarried. So within this time frame, we don't know how the babies came about. I want to assume surrogacy, but they have 2 children, so good for them. And then Lisa says they were separated at one point, and then Lenny had an emotional affair. So the way that I'm looking at it is they were separated, and he just went and just like, okay, well, we were separated. Let me do whatever. And eventually they came back to each other. She called the mistress some names, and it's just like, don't be mad at the woman. You need to be mad at your man. But from what I recall, your man is your meal ticket, and he is I think they call him Dr. Boob, Mr. Boobs or whatever. So yeah, you're not finna mess up your money. Gertie, we meet her. She's an event planner. She's planning Alexis's wedding. I don't know if her and Alexis are truly friends or if the wedding aspect is the way that we're going to get Gertie truly introduced to us. But what the heck? Oh, she was born in Haiti, moved to Paris, and then to America. She is good at adjusting, always being able to pivot, she's good at it. I'm not going down the road today. She's married with 2 kids, and her husband name is Russell. Larsa, we at her house, she mentioned selling her home, and that is a beautiful home. Now, it's just her and her daughter, but I don't think she's selling the home because it's too much. I think she's selling the home because she ain't got the guap that she says she got. And probably best to downsize. And I would really like for Larsa to just keep it 100. Because what's going to happen is somebody going to expose it. It might end up being Adriana. Because Adriana like to talk mess. She like to do a whole lot of this. And then she says she's good on her own. And that was a jab at both Scotty and the Kardashians. Where it's just like, it looked like the Kardashians got some weight, so it's like, Larsa, you might want to just button your lip, but hey, do you, boo-boo. So now it's the party. We meet a girl named Nicole. She's a doctor, I think an anesthesiologist, but she's a doctor. Her husband, Anthony, is an attorney. They're not married, but they have a child, and her whole thing is, we're good how we are, and she feels that getting married would just complicate things. And the only thing that I will say is, if she don't want to get married, she don't want to get married. But at least do something like a power of attorney or something like that. Because if something happens to her, it's going to be difficult for, her boyfriend and baby's father to do anything and vice versa. So at least some type of contract in that way where it's they take care of each other, and then just a will or whatever saying, if I pass, this is what you get. But you ain't got to be married. Just throwing it out there. Then we meet Julia, and that is one of the other girls. She is Adriana's friend, lives on the farm, has 2 homes. And I'm going to just say it since I have it on my mind. her, let me see, let me find her again. She was born in the USSR, Russia. Um, Let me see. She has a 5-year teardown that is pretty much finished. She was Miss USSR. I think she also participated in one of the big American what you call it? Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. Universe pageants or whatever. Pageant. Um, and then I did not write her wife's name down, but she has a wife. They had met. Nothing really sparked off. 8 years later, reconnected, had breakfast one day. Then several days after that, they've been together ever since. She initially uh, didn't want to be open with her sexuality because I'm guessing she's just lesbian now. I believe. I don't know if she considers it bisexual. We'll just say lesbian. Just do that. Um, and in being in Miami, it made it easier because of how free Miami is. Okay, cool. Well, hell, I could have went ahead and got Nicole out the way. Whatever. We'll come back to it. Let me see. Lenny has upgraded Adriana's breasts. And then she flashed the girl, so there's that. Adriana wants Larsa's, behind. Because she's like, okay, well, I got my tits, so if I get my behind done, well, all I gotta do is get on OnlyFans, and it is what it is. Because she does have a son, Adriana. I don't know what it is in terms of his education. Well, there was a big thing about his education and Leah Black from seasons 1, 2, and 3 paying off the debt of what we ain't going down that rabbit hole because Leah Black not here. But I just wonder if she's trying to get to the OnlyFans thing to get some more revenue in. Because again, the show was all for some years, and she's divorced from her. Well, she's divorced now, so yeah. Let me see. Nicole said she registered for OnlyFans, and Alexia is judging because it's like, well, how are you making money? And then it's the whole, I highly doubt you're making $10,000 a day just posting recipes and workouts. But at the same exact time, it's one thing for you to just want to inquire and know, and then it's another thing to be judging. And it's like, why are you judging her so harshly about that? And here's the other thing, because and let me ask you all this: would the women be wrong if they brought up her husband's, her ex-husband or deceased ex-husband's sexuality? Because that's gonna come up in a minute. Or would she be wrong or would they be wrong if they brought up the fact that you have literally allowed your eldest child to, get away with stuff, which contributed to him being in trouble the way that he was? And like, they could go down that route. And I know some people be like, well, this is business and these are her kids. But again, you judging and you being nosy, but you wouldn't want somebody to judge you on your lifestyle and the choices that you have made. So what else we got? So Marisol is iffy about Nicole because allegedly she's two-faced. So pretty much, I guess, with her being, because I don't know if she was supposed to have been on the show, but again, Marisol really isn't that interesting. So it seemed like she gonna be the one possibly carrying small bones to get the ish started. Alexia says that they're super old school and old fashioned, but I'm looking like, well, women in the old school and whatnot, they was popping their what for in the club. Some of them, were hoes. Others were whores and brothels. And the pocketbook was always a way to make money. So what is it that you're saying, miss? But again, that whole judgment. And look, sometimes when you judge somebody, it's going to come back on you. That's all I'm going to say. What else we got? I'm sorry. So Julie is married to a girl named Martina, a former tennis player. There we go. I wrote it here somewhere. Kiki, who is Gertie. That is her name, right? Gertie. Yeah, Gertie's friend was asking, can you milk a goat with your mouth? And look, Kiki said she didn't know. I mean, we all know in terms of milking and whatnot that it always comes from a tit, this, that, and third. And here's the thing: sometimes, yes, there are stupid questions, but if somebody's asking a question, let them ask a question. And if they're not asking you the question, then shut the what up. And then you got Marisol, pretty much calling her stupid, and Kiki had to get it together. Just like, let's not do that. Let's not do that. Like, oh. And all I'm going to say is this, regardless of what we're going to say, Marisol, your face is real botched up and Kiki's ain't. Stop playing. So then you have Larsa, who has them do a group photo in some shirts. that looked very thrifty. The party was real cheap. The bar wasn't up to like the way they had the bar, just stuff in coolers and whatnot. Something that I probably would have did. They had this big old balloon fixture that it looked like she was doing all of this on the budget, which is just like, okay, cool, whatever. But all of that happened. The party was just not good, not good. Larsa tried again, but see, Marisol Mama tried to told you. You just didn't want to listen. And had you not put all that money into your face, well, into your body, and just, invested it somewhere, you probably would be better off. Because here's the reality. Larsa did not look bad before trying to turn herself into a Kardashian, but whatever. Did I forget anything before we get to it? Oh, so go ahead and mention Nicole right quick. She has been practicing medicine for 8 years. She has a 6-year relationship. They moved 6 times, and they might end up moving again. And their house is, somebody wants to buy it. I forgot the number. I think for like 40 mil or something like that. And the husband wants to jump on it. The only question is, but how much? Not only did you buy it for, how much money went into renovating it? And then if we subtract that from the asking price, are you really making it come up? Nevertheless, moving on. So we end with Marisol and Alexis. And so there was a thing about Herman, and he had a former love. Apparently, this individual was at the funeral. Ran into her assistant at a gay club and gave the number and said, if she wants closure, let me know. The assistant sends a message to him, and this is where we're going to go with it. And there was a scene where I believe it was, gosh darn it, why can't I remember? Oh my gosh, the name, I should have written it down. It was on my mind, but there was a man who had said, do you remember me? Got down on his like, do you remember me now? Elaine. I think his name was James, but he's a drag queen. So when he's in drag, his name is Elaine, but he wasn't in drag at this particular point in time. And I think that was a harmless scene, but they're really trying to, drudge up the fact that Herman was gay, bisexual, whatever, who cares? And even though this is the storyline for Alexia, I don't like it only because of the simple fact that Herman isn't here to defend himself. And the way that she's reacting lets us know she more than likely knew. But it just is what it is. That's all that I got. Hopefully I was able to patch up some holes I gotta enunciate. I want this monetized, but was able to patch some things up for you guys, especially if y'all did not watch the other seasons. So that is all that I have. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please rate, comment, subscribe, and share. I don't know when y'all get the rest of these videos, but I'm gonna try to pump all the videos that I'm missing out this week. So happy new year, and I will see you all for the next video. Peace out.